Thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. We're just after seeing Oklahoma City in Oklahoma record its coldest temperature, a tie for its coldest temperature since 1899. Dallas has seen the coldest temperature since at least 1989 as well, and we've just seen remarkable, absolutely outstanding cold across the southern tier of the United States. Now, while we've seen temperatures and even snow right down to the beaches of Galveston, Texas, we've seen temperatures of close to 90 degrees in Miami, which is pretty astonishing when you think that we've got beach weather, we've got summer-like warmth over South Florida's beaches of the Gulf of Mexico, while on the other side of the Gulf of Mexico we've got snow and record-breaking cold. So you just don't get much more extreme than that. And this is all tying in with the end game of the response from that sudden stratospheric warming back at the beginning of January here. The end game, I say, because we are seeing a flip around in the upper atmosphere throughout the northern hemisphere, and in a sense, it's well and truly started across Western Europe, where we've seen wind, rain, and much milder conditions pushing in to the UK and Ireland. But of course, that residual cold that was currently and initially over the British Isles, that has been pushed into Eastern Europe, where we've seen tremendous cold and snow affect Greece and Turkey. Of course, we've seen the scenes out of Athens and across parts of Turkey as well, with the extreme cold and snow here. But the Atlantic is certainly back in play once again across Western Europe. But I want to look at the big broad picture here, folks, because the cold that's now going to start to push its way east over North America. What we're going to start to see is this contrast between warmth extending out of the Caribbean and bitterly cold air that's pushing in over the Gulf of Mexico. That is going to kickstart a much stronger Atlantic jet stream, and that is going to have a massive impact on the weather downstream here across the western portion of Europe here. So if you notice here, we'll look at the jet stream here. This is the whole global view, really. And one thing that will be worth noting is at the moment we've got blocking high pressure in the high latitude region. Now, as we go through the sequence here, what you'll start to see is the jet stream becoming much more flattened out, and we're going to start to see lower pressure across the north, higher pressure across the south, and like I said in yesterday's video, or the day before, we're going to start to see the ocean influence on the continents much more pronounced, because we're going to start to see that cold air, the Arctic origin air, retreat back to the source region once again within the pole. And then we're going to start to just see the continents, both North America and much of Europe, get flooded by maritime air. So you can see here as we skip through that the jet stream starts to really strengthen, and the reason why is we're going to get the warmth from the Caribbean meeting the very cold Arctic air from the continent. That's going to really start to intensify the jet stream, and as that arm of strong winds at 40,000 feet pushes across the Atlantic, what we've also got, by the way, is a strong area of high pressure over Europe. So instead of this jet stream just cutting west to east across the UK and the Europe, you've got an area of high pressure that's going to actually start to deflect and force the jet northwards over the British Isles over the next few days. So we're going to see a series of fronts that is going to push almost south to north, or at least from southwest and northeast over the British Isles, bringing gale force winds and troublesome heavy rainfall. Now I say troublesome because of course we've got the rapid snowmelt across parts of the UK, or many parts of the UK, but we've also got, of course, heavy rain as well. We could see upwards of 100 millimeters of rain falling across parts of Wales. But I want to hone in on the Atlantic and Europe here, because you can see here, this is during the course of Friday and into Saturday, that you notice here, this arm, the jet stream gets forced south to the west of Iberia and then gets forced northwards over the British Isles because we've got that block to the east over Europe here. What that is going to do is it's going to send exceptionally mild air from Iberia up through France and into the southeastern portion of England. We could see 18 Celsius in the coming days across the UK, across particularly the southeastern half of the UK. But it's all the effects of the cold that plunged in to the United States all the way to the Gulf Coast. That strengthens the jet stream. The jet stream rips across the Atlantic. You've got the blocking area of high pressure over Europe. And of course, that alignment of winds in the upper atmosphere right down to the surface then forces mild air northwards over the UK. So it's going to be quite interesting to see the wind, the rain, but also the very, very mild air across the western side of Europe. So you can see here, this is off the GFS. This is the initial. We've got the warm air, especially across England and Wales. We've got, of course, plenty of heat across Iberia and France. I say heat, that's obviously relatively speaking. And then, of course, we've got cold air across Scandinavia and across the eastern side of Europe here. As we go through the sequence, you will start to see that the warmer takes control, especially as we push into early next week. We could see some very significant warm anomalies across not just the UK, but across much of Europe here as the Atlantic really starts to take hold and wipes out that cold. It forces the cold all the way into almost towards Asia, actually, and you're kind of flooding Europe with unusually mild air. But this happens quite often in the wake of a cold spell. You get these surges of warmth, but look out, like I said in the last video, I feel confidence growing, at least, that we're going to start to see that cold air try to fight back westwards for a kind of last punch of winter before we say goodbye altogether and move into the spring season here. But like I say, the Arctic Oscillation is going positive, the NAO is going positive, and you can see here that as we skip through this sequence here, looking back at the jet stream, you can see here that the lows now start to replace the highs to the north of the jet stream, high pressure to the south, and of course, I've already explained, you've got that kind of push of oceanic air wiping out the cold, forcing it back northwards once again. So plenty of things going on. I hope you're having a good Wednesday, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.